Before we get back to your calls, little stat thing for you on Sunday being must win, because you and I were on TV last night and we had the 0-2 graphic, I think, at one point. Like teams that start 0-2, I think 12% of teams, was it 12%, are able to like get to double-digit wins. It's a bad sign. You start 0-2, you're in trouble. Here's some more from Charlie, who said teams that start 0-3 since 1979, only 6 teams have made it to the playoffs after an 0-3 start. Only one of those 6 teams has made the playoffs in this 21st century. That was the Texans. No team has made the playoffs since the expansion to a 17-game season after starting 0-3. And it's a 2.5% chance to make the playoffs after going 0-3.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, not great.
Those are not good numbers. I look at the Steelers, though, and I know I'm sitting next to the Steelers' #1 fan right here. And I really I feel for you, Zoe. I feel for you, the fact that you've been banned from picking the Steelers on a weekly basis. I always listen
Why do you feel
to you guys with RJ, and I feel for him.
Bad week for RJ.
They were looking out for me last week because I would have lost.
Oh, yeah.
I would have lost the pick. They didn't cover against the Jets.
I'm not a believer in the Steelers yet. And so for people to say, well, you go 0-2, then 0-3 when the Steelers come to town, why? They just gave up 32 points to Justin Fields.
It's true.
And Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, which is to say I have no idea what you're getting from him on a weekly basis, especially if he gets knocked around for a couple weeks here before he comes to town.
He threw 4 of the most ridiculous nondescript touchdowns I've ever seen. Like, I saw the stat line, 4 touchdowns. Like, oh, my God, who did he get it to? Was it Metcalf? No, it was like fullback on a little under, tight end, I think the other back.
I saw him make a few nice throws on the move, actually. And so, I look at that and I say, okay, like there's still a little zip there. He can still move around. Maybe because he's further removed from that Achilles, maybe he's feeling a little bit better. And who knows what kind of season he's going to have. I just am not going to look at this after 1 week where they eke out a win over the Jets and say, boy, Patriots definitely can't beat those guys. So what I was saying last night was, even if you go 0-2, it's bad. You might not make the playoffs. I wasn't necessarily picking them to make the playoffs anyway. But I do still think, even if you go 0-2, you could get through the first month 2-2, which to me is where a lot of people had them. And so I don't think it's necessarily time to panic and say this season is doomed to be like our buddy Michael Hawley. I think he said if they lose this week, they're going 4-13. Like, I'm not going that far. I don't see that. I think they will have the opportunity to right the ship.
Let's go back to your calls. As promised, Paulie in the truck. Paulie.
I love Gilly. I'd love to see him back here. I had the pleasure of being able to speak with him at down at the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Was that down at what was it? In the team hotel?
I think it might have been, it's probably the same day that you stiffed me on Brady's Zolak.
Yeah. Well, you were only 8 feet from him, drinking out of the Wendy's cup.
Jason McCourty's another great guy.
Class act.
Bird, Phil, if it rains, I'd rather play in the rain. Hey, we played in the rain last week than playing that heat down there, I'll tell you that. So you kind of stole my thunder. I was thinking before you spoke on Tua, that you want to pressure him up, and you don't want to let him get comfortable, that's for sure. He had a rough week last week. You want to keep him there.
Yep.
You want to pressure him up the middle and flood the middle of the field with defenders. You want to make him try to throw the ball to the numbers. And, Phil, why did they get rid of that third string quarterback that's better than the second string quarterback? God forbid the kid goes down and you give him a little, bit of pressure, make and have him compete a little bit so he stays on his toes. He doesn't have to wait till game time when he does it. This Molly calling crap's crazy. What happened to that quarterback? Is he on the practice squad or did somebody else pick him up? Great talking to you guys as usual.
Thanks, Paulie. They do have Tommy DeVito. I think he must be talking about Ben Wooldridge.
Yeah.
He was a big Ben Wooldridge
That's
fan.
what he's talking about, yeah.
I don't know if he has landed anywhere. He's not on the practice squad. He's not with the team anymore. But they do have 3 quarterbacks, and they're all on the active roster, which I find interesting. But hopefully you're not having to look too deeply into what the Patriots have behind Drake May for a while.
Mike in Danvers. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how are you guys? Listen, great show. Listen, if I'm the Patriots, I cut Christian Gonzalez. I cut him.
What?
I cut him from. Wait, let me explain.
Please do. Yeah, no, let's hear that.
Okay, listen. He's got short time left on his contract, right? You're going to lose a little bit of money, but you're not going to lose a lot of money. And they are not going to re-sign him. Let's face it. They are not going to re-sign him. And it sends a message to the team, right? It's not about you. It's about the team, right? So we don't need you here. If you don't want to play, we cut you. It's not about you. It's about the team. And they move on.
That's strong. Listen, you would get him for the rest of this year. you would get him for next year, and then you do have a 5th-year option on the guy, which would be relatively inexpensive compared to what he's going to make on his next contract on an annual basis. So, bad idea. Can we all agree on that?
Terrible,
bad idea.
Ridiculous.
Do you think it's
not to be considered idea?
And also, I think people assume out there that he's not doing the things he needs to do to come back.
Is that what Vrabel
I don't
keeps
know
reiterating?
that's true.
Vrabel keeps talking about him being engaged in meetings. He's in the meetings. He's doing his things, asking the right questions.
He's always around. I mean, he's in the locker room. It looks like he's working out. He's going out watching practice from, a couple different practices that I've been at in recent weeks. And so, I think the assumption that he's just hanging out on the couch somewhere isn't the correct one.
Right.
Yeah, not even close.
They wouldn't allow that.
I'm going to move on.
Cut him, right?
I haven't heard that one before. That's a new one. Chris in Hartford. Hey, Chris.
Well.
Hey, Beto, good Friday. Well, Zoe. What's up, Perry? What's going on, buddy?
How you doing, bud?
Good, Phil.
Hey, listen, I had to call in, okay? Listen, this is a tough gig, okay? Doing what you guys do is a tough gig, okay? And I know that you said the Raiders secondary was horrible and you guys were going to score like 35 points and it didn't happen. I'm going to give you a mulligan, okay? So I want to know from you, since we can't run the ball, that means we have no play action, and that means we're going to lose 24-17 this weekend. I want to know what your score is. Have a great day, Perry.
I got it 24-20, so we're actually on the same page. Miami winning 24-20. So, yeah, you're right. And listen, again, I'll reiterate, I still think the Raiders secondary sucks, which is why last week was such a bad sign. You should have been able to do more against that defense. The one thing that I will find interesting, again, this gets back to how can Josh McDaniels, the coaching staff, make life a little bit easier on Drake May? Because I asked May earlier this week, was there any sort of common thread between the throws that you liked the least when you watched it back on tape? And the word he used was rushed. He felt like he rushed them.
Feet.
And so that's mechanical. It could be, right? That could be the root of it. To me, Zo, would you rush if you're not seeing things clearly? If you're reading things a little bit late,
no.
would you then rush to speed up and make the throw?
No, I think it'd be the reverse. It would be like you're seeing things you can't wait to get the ball there. Like he was even rushing. He even rushed the rushing attempt that he had around left end. He didn't do the play fake long enough. Like so, he's so sped up here that I think he's 22 again, young, and he absorbs everything. He's trying to appease, I think, everybody. So if they're telling him slide. Don't run. Throw first. Remember that. I'm processing that. Don't turn it over. Make sure you slide. Get down. Don't take the headshot. He's just trying to get everybody happy, I think.
I got to hit my back foot and get this thing out as quickly as I can. Yeah. That could be it.
If you're not seeing things, you hang on to the ball longer. So that only happened a couple times.
He was hanging on to it longer, and then he finally sees the guy uncover, and he says, "Oh bleep! I gotta, my mechanics gotta go really fast. I gotta get this thing out really fast," and that's the physical rushing.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that was the case.
Okay,